Statistics from the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) shows that 18 political parties have been registered to contest the 2023 elections as at October 2022, while there are still room for consideration before the election in 2023. Despite the riot act by the national chairman of INEC, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, and security agencies on the need for issue-based campaign, some rights activists and legal practitioners call on politicians to play by the rules.
Section 92 of the Electoral Act 2022 as amended is very clear on how our campaigns should be, and it should be issue-based. Issue-based campaign is when a political candidate comes to tell the electorate what he wants to do, how he wants to do it, and of course the parameters with which he can be measured when actually being elected. Not slandering and of course campaign of calumny. No, the Electoral Act 2022 frowns at that. And I'm saying that as we proceed towards 2023 general elections, all campaigns should be issue-based, devoid of rancor. You don't need to, talk down on anybody. Tell us what you want to do and how you intend to do it so that Nigerians will now gauge whether you meet their expectation or not.
My advice to all the political parties and the politicians, very, very important, the politicians who are on the field, because campaign has started, we want to urge you, please, there is only one country that we have, and that country is Nigeria. Your rhetorics, campaign involving issues of tribalism, ethnicism, divisive issues, religion, we don't need it.
Some politicians also call for issues-based campaign among party spokespersons and politicians in safeguarding the unity of Nigeria.
The campaign should be issue-based. It should be issue-based. Anything short of that, I think the person is not yet ready. Because enough of grandstanding. You see, if you don't have a good record, something to show that you believe in the unity of this country and the need for everybody to be carried along.
Because if people base their campaign on issues, especially the candidates, because we're not talking of aspirants now, the candidates, if they base their campaign on issues, on national discourse, on how to solve the problems of Nigeria, then we know that the candidate that knows the solution to those problems knows what to do when he gets there.
The Act has made it very clear. Section 91, subsection 1, 2, 3, has given the police the power to arrest and, of course, to handle anybody that contravenes the rule of the Electoral Act and even, of course, our Constitution. So we are calling on INEC to be firm. Of course, the security agencies should be firm. Political gladiators should be firm in what they do. And, of course, citizens must be awake to respond to every of their responsibilities as patriotic Nigerians. That is only where and when we can see an egalitarian Nigerian state.
Meanwhile, as the countdown to the 2023 general election commences with campaigns, Nigerians from all walks of life will only hope that politicians act as they speak in ensuring the unity and stability of Nigeria and not to incite the teeming youths in embracing violence. From Warri in Delta State, Daily Fast on reporting for Galaxy News.
You're welcome. The mini feature is very clear. We're in its season, issue-based campaign. And I like all the views expressed by all our people that spoke ahead. Then in the studio we have with us Barrister Bayo Ayo. He's a legal practitioner, arbitrator, he's a politician, he's a consultant, of course that's project consultant, he's a political analyst, he's a community leader, he's a father, of course, he's a husband of one wife. Do I continue? Anyway, let me just leave that. When he start speaking, you'll know the type of person he is. We want to dig him out out of he hid, but one way or the other, God just brought him out, and here we are. We there insisted that he'll be here today, and he's here to shed more light. He is vast in politics, and of course, you will hear when he starts. Mr. Bayo Ayo, or Barrister Bayo Ayo. You are welcome to the program.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. Happy New Year.
Same to you, sir. Fine, thank you.
Thank you for inviting me.
We thank God. We thank God. Here, so let us start off.
Yes, sir.
Issue-based. You have been in the field. You have witnessed situations where candidates will begin, rather than telling the public, the voters, what they want to do for them, they will start dancing, they will start spraying money, and the most important thing they do, which is why rampant and clear established with Nigerian politicians, is abuse. Are we to expect that, or there must be a paradigm shift this time around?
Well, first of all, let me say that the environment dictates a lot in determining what's in quote strategy. You know, like you say, all politics are local, and so I assume that a politician who is seeking office in an area would know the psychology of that area of society, and therefore dishes out what amuses them or what attracts them to him. Be that as it may, it is very unfortunate, I must say, that we're still in that era, because Nigerians. Okay, so apologies. You mentioned the dancing part, and I tell you that it's so funny that I was somewhere and I was like, this guy is not even speaking
to anyone.
And the person next to me said, wow, I love his dancing. So he must have been encouraged.
Somewhere or the other.
Just keep dancing.
And people will fall for you.
Then you have those who will go and they'll say, they electorate themselves, because I always say it, sir, that the strength of every leadership is in the followership.
Yes.
When the followership decides that this is what we want, the leadership will give them what they want. But for as long as the followership is docile, the leadership will be docile. So the strength of every leadership is in the followership, and we cannot do anything about that. So it's unfortunate that we're still at that level of electioneering campaign. You mentioned abuses, which is very unfortunate and amusing. I don't understand. The other day, one of the candidates was crying on TV that they abused his father. I mean, for me, I thought, then what are you doing in the field? They say that if
the kitchen is too hot.
You know. Meanwhile, the person that is crying, I find it very amusing, because you've witnessed the abuse and insult on one or two other candidates at the same level, and then you now come to TV
and break down,
and then you are crying that you abused your father. You've abused somebody else's. Your people have abused somebody else's. So it's a society that demands, and it is a demand and supply situation. The society demands, the politician supplies. That's the way I look at it. Issue-based. That's why I said it's unfortunate we're still at that level. I would have expected that 2023 would have strictly been based on issues affecting the country. However, it is not as if they're not addressing issues. It's just that, you get to some places, even the electorate will tell you, they will ask you, is it English? Okay, let me give you a bad example. Somebody was campaigning and said, I have fixed the roads and everything. Somebody raised up and said, okay, fold the road and put it inside bread. And, eat it. So how do you expect such a person to continue
To do something.
No, not just to do, because he did it without their.
Yes. So now that you ask them.
But no, so somebody you want to convince that see the road I've done, says park your road and put it on that internet.
It's bread for us. What does that person mean now?
It means that is it road that we're going to eat.
It's all about what goes into their mouth.
Yeah, so that's why the very popular Pharisees
stomach infrastructure
is actually a reality, because again the leadership with the acquiescence of the followership has bastardized the psyche of the average Nigerian. They have weaponized poverty. So it is not surprising that after all, when you get there, you won't remember.
So let us just look at it this way. Is it possible, I appreciate that point you brought out, is it possible now that the voter will now dictate, because to all intents and purposes this is the time, like we in this part of the system we say it's our festival, this is our time for the voter to dictate, and of course you see all the politicians now falling head over heels wanting to please them. So in pleasing we the voters, is it possible that we now will begin to ask them, we don't want to see your dancing, we don't want to hear your rhetorics, all we want is what can you do?
Not just what can you do, how
will, and of course how will you do it?
Okay.
See, that's what is expected. That's why I said the leadership, the strength of every leadership resides in the followership.
Yes.
If the followership decides that in 2023, as we have a few weeks, just about 4 or 5 weeks to the election, or to the general presidential election. Okay, so in these 4 weeks, we've had enough of entertainment.
Serious.
Let us now face
the business.
I have been following, some of the state by state moves by the presidential candidates, especially, and yes, some appeal to us now. Let's generalize. Some appeal to our sentiments about the problems of Nigeria. Another comes with a solution that says, okay, look, I know what I can do, but I don't want to reveal. But another one comes and says, I'm going to do, for instance, one said to a group of young people that he met, he said, you people will protest because I am going to remove the subsidy. That's a matter of fact. That's quite, a factual statement. So if peradventure he wins and he goes on to do that, he's already said it. He has not painted anything in any color to say, okay, I will see what I can do. And we will have to set up a committee and all of that. So those are the facts and issues that we need to begin to address. Subsidy. What is your opinion? What are you going to do? How are you going to do it? Education. What are you going to do? How are you going to do it? You all have manifestos. How many of them are speaking to their manifestos? How many of the people that they are meeting are asking questions from those manifestos? You don't even need to go outside. You've given me a document. I've looked at the document. I'm asking you, this is what you said you do. For instance, I had 1-2 days ago, under my watch, ASU will not go on strike. How are you going to do about it? It's not enough.
Talk is cheap.
Yeah, it's not enough to say, I will fix the hospitals. How? Where will the money come from?
Doctors have left the country in their groups.
They're leaving. They've not just
they keep leaving.
In fact, I read a report yesterday that in 2 months, the UK licensed 266 doctors. And
so are we going to produce those that have been...
You are coming in as a president. What do you do? Are we producing more doctors? Are you going to face the medical education as a priority? As a priority towards the upliftment of the health facilities or health sector? Are you going to look at the academic sector and improve on it in such a way that they become very important contributors to the GDP? Because this is a bit out of road.
No, it's part of it. We are on.
In the last, conservatively, the last 20-25 years, I do not see how much our universities have contributed to our GDP.
Let me just cut you short so that you understand, for you to know that indeed you are on. Education is the engine of growth. It provides and enables the economy.
It enables everything because
so if education is not given the right,
I'm sure you will bear me witness. As a lawyer, you are producing about 5,000 lawyers annually. 1,200 or 300 of them are having first-class degrees from the law school. In our days, it was unheard of.
Yes.
But I mean, we
now,
so, but where are 5,000 lawyers going to? What is the kind of education they have been given that will make them contribute
and integrate
into the system that makes economy grow? Those are things that we want to hear from people
who wants to
lead, or who wants to lead, as the case may be. So I am not against one or two of them delegating answers to their team. I'm not against it because I expect that is a team thing.
Yes. Yes.
It shows me
nobody has monopoly.
Yes, it shows me that, oh, okay, so I don't know this, but somebody else in my team does. So that means that it's likely that we have a team
work. That's what they are portraying, which is good.
You understand? I'm not against someone who feels that he knows everything. Saying it and giving us an answer. But what I want is, as you are telling me that you want to fix education, can I have a
blueprint,
analysis of how
that
it's going to
be
be possible? ASU is not going to go on strike. What are you going to do to address the incessant ASU demands?
My brother, is it possible that in the next few weeks, is it possible that the voters or the electorate take this, because you are bringing some interesting aspect of this issue, which if it's done, definitely will go places. It will give us some respite. Not this dancing, but now taking, how do you want, interrogating, making them to tell us the nitty-gritty. They are in the public space. You see, if we just know, if it's not original, it can't be original, right? If it's not Panadol, it can't be Panadol. So let us look at it. Tell us, not that when you get there, you don't want to tell us. No. Who and how can we interrogate the system in the next few weeks before we get there?
I don't know what magic we can do in the next few weeks.
Meetings, involving in town hall meeting the youths and so on. Advocacy.
It may be too late, for instance, to say, in our community we want to bring a presidential candidate.
Yeah, community leader. Can't you do that?
However, there are representatives of that presidential candidate in my community. So I knock on the door
of that representative. Bring your man here.
What does your man want to do? He must have told you.
We want to hear from the horse. Can we hear from the horse's mouth?
That's what I'm saying. That it's because of the tight schedule.
Yes.
Of
their campaign.
I'm not too sure it is possible that
they will go to various communities. Look down.
However, there are, like I said, there are representatives. At least somebody is going to the House of Assembly in the same party. Somebody is going to the House of Reps in the same party. Somebody is going to the Senate. Somebody wants to be governor.
The deputy too.
Deputy governor. So if we take these 5,
the DG Papa
individuals, you will then, apart from those 5, you still have the party structure. So the party must have a blueprint of this is what we want to do. Or is it that we can only hear the manifesto from the top,
and that's why they get down.
So this is where
teamwork
is. So I'm not going to go after the man who wants to be president. I'd rather go after the community representative. If you cannot convince me, your party cannot convince me, then why do I need to listen to the man? Because it means the man has not been able to convince me.
Smooth.
So these are things we need to address. I jokingly told a friend of mine recently, I said, well, for this election we should let go. I mean, not in an irresponsible but you see, the one in future, what do we do?
After this general election, after May 20 general election,
as they are celebrating the victory,
they are taking over,
mourning the losses and everything. Let the civil society begin the work against the next one, such that the person who wants to be governor, who wants to be...
We go arrest this man. We go arrest him. Go on. Don't worry, we have a cliche here.
These people should come back in about 3 years to say, we can't go and dance in that place. These guys
are now aware. They are now informed.
Yes.
They are now prepared for us.
And it takes us removing the suits and the ties.
Yes.
And hit the ground with the boots. We must let our feet touch the ground. If it does not, as long as we sit down and we expect the man who needs money to send his child to school, the man, okay, for instance, a governor went visiting somewhere and somebody comes out and says, please save my son. He's been in hospital for 3 months. And the governor picked up his phone, called the CMD and said, the bill of that child is on me. And truly, the bill of the child was passed to the governor. How do I convince that man that this governor is wicked?
After helping him.
I mean, he has touched me. He has touched the most sensitive part of me.
Yeah.
Helping hand.
So then you will now come and say, you see that guy that helped you.
It was so hard.
It's a lie. That helped you. He was deceiving you. It's not possible.
Something that is real.
Meanwhile, I should be convinced that really, it's actually my right for that child to be treated. Even if I don't have money, I should have some buffers that helps to make sure that the child is safe first and foremost. Then I can come in, but I don't know. So the man comes, he pays the bills, and somebody now comes and says, "Don't mind that man, he was just deceiving you." Naturally, he's like, "Are you okay?" Look at the evidence of his goodness.
Someone saved my son.
But no doubt that man's intervention may be right, because ordinarily the system ought to take care of it, not from his pocket. Right, and that's why we are going.
So we need to now explain to people that if you enter into the general hospital, yes, you are supposed to pay, right? But you have some rights. You will bear me witness that there are some basic rights of an emergency situation.
Yes.
You have those rights. We need to begin to educate people so that they know that it's not everything that is being done that is a favor.
Or that they are doing it just to help us.
The other day,
commission a road.
I want to mention his because he's already in general manager. When he made his endorsement, somebody was now. Somebody asked what did he do? What did he do when he was there? Somebody said he brought mobile phone. That's why I have to turn off.
Like he's doing us a favor.
Of all the things I want to do, that's the thing now. I said, are you aware that the mobile system was already knocking on the door
before he came in?
It was, and since he came, I told him, I said, the man only brought Sergeant. He brought what was that other one that we used to have in those days? Those small ones.
I used to have that.
Is it Sonny Rickson?
But before he left, the system had graduated to that 10. And by the time he was leaving, we were already looking at other improvements. So he couldn't have been the one to. He had no choice.
Business.
So, and the world is getting so dynamic now that a leader who does not flow with the system will lose out.
Yes.